To Let's Go, the weekly anime podcast about weekly anime from Dynamite in the Brain and Secret of the Sailor Madness. So come along and hang with the Let's Go gang. It's Dwayne.
Hello.
It's Niall.
Yo.
And it's me, Brian. And on this week's episode, we are covering anime that aired the week of the 1st of June through to the 7th of June in our year 2020. And this time I've got the OBS settings, so if you're watching this on YouTube, not everything is in the middle, is in both channels rather than just in the left channel. Having said that, I think maybe I was only in the left channel. You guys may have been in the middle channel. But
yes.
I mean, like, yeah, you only need to wear one headphone in that case. I feel like you're saving people some effort there.
Yeah.
But it's not easy to tolerate the voices in your head when they're like evenly balanced between both sides of your brain. You know, so you don't go too crazy.
I mean, like, it's fun to have a podcast now and again where someone's whispering in one of your ears.
It's not. I absolutely hate it. I can't remember which podcast used to slightly mix one host to your right ear and slightly mix the other host to your left ear. They weren't like fully in each ear, but one was slightly louder. I was like, stop doing that.
I'm fine when it's like a radio play and they're trying to, do things like traffic passing you and stuff. That's fine.
I wonder if someone's trying that for any kind of like, argument or debate style podcast where you got someone
got one on the left
represent,
and the right.
The devil and the angel on your shoulders.
That's got to be a thing, yeah.
But yes, let's just be thankful that you can actually hear it. And I've just realised I've not watched the very first thing we're going to talk about today, Super Shiro, episode 34, A Hero's
If we talk
Holiday.
about something else, you can easily get it in. Like,
you deserve a day off.
Yeah,
you must holiday if you will.
Yeah, exactly. Tell me all about this short that I forgot to watch.
Well, the Dekabu and Super Shiro are racing to the scene to trade the latest Bobo Bone, which, as you know, is a gorgeous, elegant, and wild fragrance. You gotta get it. It's located somewhere inside this hot spring or spa resort. So like, okay, we'll go slip around.
I think they just happened to be passing it by, and it smells nice in there, and it's like, that's probably gorgeous and elegant and wild. Yeah, let's hop in there. And they're kind of going about and sniffing things and getting up to dog shenanigans. They're sniffing on the chairs, and then they start getting their heads massaged on the chairs.
All spooshed up.
Which looks painful. Then I realized, oh, wait, that's just like petting for a dog. That's grand.
Yeah, I mean, they're all about it. I'm saying, okay, no, we gotta focus. We gotta find that bone somewhere in here. So we go sniff around the bath and say, it could be around this bath. I better take a dip in and make sure. Oh, that's the stuff. Oh,
that feels really good. Let's check the jacuzzi. Oh my god, that's so
the bubbles.
good.
Oh, effervescent. But no, we gotta focus. We gotta get at that bone. They keep going around different baths.
They get a little bit of a breather once they're out of the bath. Have a little drink of milk, and they're kind of like, ping pong? Like, yeah, we got time for a quick round of ping pong. I think we can go for that.
Well, it's ping pong, but them being two tiny dogs, it's full size tennis for them.
Basically, yeah, and then like breaking the laws of physics using two paddles.
Dekabu is quite good at it, actually. He's
surprisingly good. I'm quite impressed.
Because that's one thing that he may be a villain, but even he has something that he's got to be good at.
Sure.
And I just said, no, we gotta focus. We gotta get through this, but they can't go around and loop again. Now let's try to massage chairs again. Oh, it's a different one that massages their feet, but it's weird. But I like the first one better. Let's try the first chair again. Oh yeah, bloop, 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 getting smooshed up in the balls, and then they're just going around and just going to the different, doing the whole loop again.
They go through the whole loop again, and they come out like shiny at the end.
Yeah,
they've had the real treatment. Yeah,
but I think Akio Otsuka as an inner hero voice going, hey, come on, we gotta find that but also world will be in peril. And they're like, relax in the bed. Hey, come on, we gotta save the day. And
eventually they're just kind of ignoring him. Yeah, it's like he's trying to get them back on the plot, and they're like, this is nice though.
So they just like finish up and they bid each other a fond farewell and go home as nice, relaxed and refreshed. She was like, oh, what a day. Oh, can't wait to be doing that again. Time to bed down for the night with no worries in my bed at all, in my head at all. But of course, the operator calls in. Super Shiro, what about the bone? Come on.
He's like, literally your
shit. Job.
I didn't get the bone. Episode ends.
Oh, no. Can't get a break.
It's nice. It's a good reminder that sometimes you need to take it easy twice in a row because you deserve it. Fuck it, why not?
You gotta treat yourself. It's
Yeah.
you're under a lot of pressure lately, and you
Mm.
gotta know it's appropriate to let it out. But don't get so relaxed, don't get so complacent that you forget your responsibilities. Otherwise, because then
Yes.
it was all for naught, and it'll feel like it'll taint the memory of how relaxed you were.
I'm just glad our hero didn't get exploded at the end of this week's one. It's like he deserves to not be exploded once in a while.
Yeah, it looks painful. Shouldn't we don't like condone any kind of animal cruelty on this podcast?
It's not good for the fur. Yeah.
No.
So next episode, is he going to get blown out of a whale and then caught by pirates?
No, that's time to go into a jungle. That's a jungle rainforest. It's in Kasakabi. How is that in Kasakabi? You say? Don't sweat the small details, kid.
Yeah.
In the jungle land.
They seem to be very
It's
concerned. It's like, hey, don't worry. We just have a cool cartoon jungle gags we got to do. Just don't question it.
It's probably the same jungle that they have all the Shin-chan films in where they go have an adventure in the jungle.
That's
No,
true.
it seems to be right close to where they live. So we'd say it's not.
Unusual topography.
Okay, next up, we've got Woodpecker Detective's Office, Episode 8, Young Man. In which, well, first of all, I went onto the internet and tried to figure out when is exactly this taking place. So these stories in the novel take place between 1909 and 1911. In the novel, there's like the final story starts in 1923, where he's looking back at some notes from an old case, and then at the end of the case, he's like, I think that kid might have been Edgar Rampo, you know. And that's the one where that's the one where they're accusing each other of being the murderer. And they have to have the child explain it to them exactly what had happened. Yeah, so but also in the novel there's only them two. The other novelists aren't part of the story.
Well, they don't really get much done anyway.
Yes, so I'm not sure there's this overarching case in the novel either, from what I was reading.
Right.
This, however, is one of the cases from the novel. So this is February 1911, so I think your fella's only got not that long left to live. Is it the following year he dies, or is it later that year? Spoiler alert for a man who's been dead over a century's life. He dies April 1912. So yeah, the doctor's here to visit him after he collapsed coughing up blood at the end of the last week's episode. And before that though, he's been reading Dostoevsky, and he's imagining himself in the firing squad scene.
Yeah, he's like either identifying with it or he's that drawn into it that he feels like emotionally this is where he needs to be. So he's rereading that scene.
Yeah, and he asks Kindeachi not to be in the room with him when the doctor gives him his diagnosis, because he's clearly trying to save his friend from worrying too much. And the rest of his friends are not worrying at all. They're not worrying enough.
Well, they know how much of a prick he is, and also perhaps if you have a problem, don't go to a poet about it because they're not going to be very helpful.
I still can't figure out if she's just a short woman or a young girl, the landlady.
No, she acts like an old lady, but she looks like a very young lady.
Yes. Has got a young man who wants to hire them to investigate a case of a threatening letter that the young man has received.
But he's super not interested.
Yes, and he's going to go to the toilet, and then as they wait for him to come back from the toilet, the young man looks out the window and says, I think he's just left the building.
It's like, no, he said he was going to the toilet. It's like, no, he's gone down the road there. I just saw him.
Without the umbrella, in the rain. And Kindachi's like, no, the doctor told me to make sure he stayed inside and got rest. And he's ignoring the doctor's advice.
He checks the usual haunts, and he's not there. And he checks the milk bar and asking the lads for advice, but they're all being to be fair, kind of dicks to him because it's kind of like, he's probably just doing it as a way to get attention so he can borrow a bunch of money. You know how he is.
Yes. And
Like your man who's infatuated or whatever you call it. He put himself into the gang by just saying really morbid things all the fucking time.
Yes. This is our good friend Akutagawa, yes. Yeah, I hadn't realised the fellow who's not here, the one we ran into in the the episode where they were all in love with the milk shop waitress. He's the guy who will be by Ishikawa's side when he dies in real life. Yeah, it's Wacky is one of the people who looks after him as his health begins to fail. But yeah, so then he runs into the young man in the rain as he's looking off a bridge, and the young man's like, "Are you thinking of killing yourself, are you?" Explains, I've read that it's a pretty bad way to kill yourself, but from this side, I'm sure the impact will kill you rather than drowning.
And he's kind of being really flippant about it. It's like, oh, you thought I came here to try and save you. This happens to be my way home. So it just kind of worked out. It's probably fate, I suppose.
Yeah. And then they get to talking, and they head off inside, and then there's a bit of embarrassment about taking their wet clothes off. And Ishikawa's like, oh, that's just, they call that adolescence in the West. And then the young man gets over his embarrassment, and then it's Ishikawa's turn to be embarrassed because this is not a young man, this is a fully grown woman. And we learn that she is the wife of the entertainment manager who was arrested in the newspaper stories they were reading for the murder of a Batman. I think it's supposed to be Birdman. It's Birdman in the novels for sure, because when I looked up the characters, it just gave me posters of the Birdman film rather than any explanation of what this entertainment act was. I'm sure it was.
Yeah, I mean, unless they just wanted to call him a Batman because he did it at night rather than during the day.
Maybe, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
So, and it turns out the Batman was having an affair with the wife, and then she was getting a threatening letter from the Batman's little brother, and the husband won't take the letter to the police because he's more ashamed of people finding out that his wife was having an affair than
potentially,
actually dealing with the threats they're getting.
Then it's like the little brother's after him because it seems like he might have done it because he knew his wife was having an affair with this guy. He might have cut the guy's cord.
Do we get a clear explanation of how the guy got off? Wasn't arrested for the murder?
No, the guy with the constable, the Poirot we've seen before, kind of goes like, "I got you got your ass, motherfucker," and then the chief or some guy
superintendent, they mentioned superintendent, and then there's a sly smile on the face of the husband, and there's also little
people in high places is the suggestion, but
there's accusations that he's using the church, which is where the landlady knows the wife from, is being used as a front to sell children.
That's what the Batman was going to come out and tell the press about before he got killed, apparently.
Yeah, so that was in the letter which was the letter which was discovered. And yeah, so then another letter arrives at the end, and it's Ishikawa's not taking it seriously until the second letter comes with a detailed itinerary of their movements.
Because the first letter was just like, "I'm watching you at all times," and he's like, "This is like some cheap detective novel things." And then it's like 10:45 a.m. You go and have breakfast. You have this for breakfast, and then intimate details of your fucking inner bedroom life. And he's like, "Oh, that's bad, not good."
And that's kind of where they've got two possibilities, I guess, is someone on the opposite side of the river is observing them through a telescope, or someone sneaking into the roof of their building and observing
Because it's
them.
like an old house and it does have like
Yes.
the yeah.
Or the husband is that one who's actually responsible.
Yeah,
Or she
someone on the
is.
inside.
Yeah, one of those two.
Because
Yeah.
he says it's like, could a maid have done it? And it's like, no, because outside the window is like literally looks out into that huge fucking river. So
Yes,
you can't really
but
peek in.
it's very careful to show you the opposite
That
side
you
of
could
the
look
river.
across the river.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think they've mentioned I think they've briefly brought up telescopes and microscopes as well, haven't they, in dialogue earlier in the series of like these Western. Oh, it's in the poems he's reading of like the guy who's the author who's like the mock
that's
anger
right. Yeah,
against Western things of like
Mm.
how dare they bring all these things. It's clear like
cool
the guy
things.
the guy who's complaining is a little bit more enamoured than he would want to admit, the character writing the poem. But yeah, it's all set up for whatever's going to the solution next episode, and presumably the remaining story as well. I guess the other details about the church and the child kidnapping is probably connected to the other not the blackmail, but like the scandals being revealed via murder that the other two businessmen have suffered. But yeah, it was at the point where you can see they're like hitting schedule problems a little bit. There's like a few shortcuts here at like particularly the river may just be stock CG water.
Yeah, there was another thing that was messing with me in this. The sound, like a lot of the sound effects felt very like the thump 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 of feet. It was very. It felt like it wasn't in the mix properly or something. I'm not exactly sure what the hell it was.
But it still worked as a story, that's for sure. And you kind of get the encroaching doom of Ishikawa, even if that never actually happens on screen.
It's definitely building to what you know is coming. Yeah.
Yes, yeah, and the fact that he's trying to cover it up and to save his friends from worrying too much about him. Though the landlady seems to be. She mentions that she'd been sick when she was younger, and part of the reason why she's being rude to him is for him not to like fall into a melancholy.
To kind of keep his spirits up by giving him something to hate, maybe.
Yes, but
Maybe
also
that's
bringing
why
him a
she's
nice
so,
cake.
So short because she was sick when she was younger. That's a thing.
That could be, yes, that could well be it. Righty-ho. Next up, we've got Fruits Basket, Season 2, Episode 9, My Precious. Everyone give me a big pat on the back for not falling into a Gollum impression.
Oh, it's so fucking tempting, isn't it?
Park that shit at the door. It's a serious business. Because Kyo has been called in for a meeting with Akiro, which is unprecedented.
Toru's delighted for him because he gets to like partake with the rest of the family, and he's kind of like, "Yeah, thanks for being happy for me, but I know it's fucked."
Yeah, but when he's about to go, don't fuck me, everybody. But he's like, okay, she doesn't really know. I'll just deal with this because I don't want to trample on her smiling right now. This is making her happy for me, so I'm gonna go with that. But he's still fucking nervous and anxious as all get out. Certainly. Not helped by Yuki coming by and just in the hallway and do the same bit. All right, man. Fuck, remember what everyone said. Don't throw a fucking fit or anger or do anything stupid and to fuck everything up for us. All right, you keep it cool inside with Akira. All right, so don't fucking talk to me like that, you motherfucker. And it just they're back to fighting with each other, but it's not so funny this time.
Yeah, it's more like serious fighting rather than the play fighting.
Yeah, and Yuki just kind of reading it a little bit of a different way now. He feels like rather than somebody, he feels like he's got nothing to lose, so he's going to just like live out his own way. He feels like, well, I know this isn't going to last anyway, so he feels more a sense of like resignation off of him.
Yeah, like he's going to enjoy the time he has left, kind of thing, and Kyo's going to be in the same position by the end of it.
So he's like thinking, oh, Kyo was futile to try and resist it because he knows he's going to try and resist it, and he doesn't want to mess up what little time they have left in it. But yeah, the bulk of it is taken up with this really fucking tense, petty, and very very tense little encounter here.
I've rarely ever wanted to hit someone as fucking much. You know, that kind of way. I'm just like, oh, just lay them out. You know.
Yeah.
Such a dick.
This poking at all of the old stuff is like, yes, I remember your mother. She was so nice to you and cherished you, even though you were a monster, and everyone called you a monster. But she loved you anyway. But she couldn't put up with it. She couldn't handle all the fun pressure of it, giving birth to the monster and the stigma attached to it. So she killed herself. And
he's like, no, it wasn't my fault. It's like, no,
that's your fault, monster.
You
monster.
You killed her, all that kind of thing. Kind of trying to get him to draw back into himself, to make him realize that he's worthless. But it isn't quite so much working on Kyo. It's kind of making him realize that what he has is important. He kind of comes to the realization, it's like, oh shit, I love Toru. The things that she's giving me, the life that she's kind of injected back into me, the fact that I can live for someone else's smiling and shit. And it's just like, oh, that's love. I love her.
The monster doesn't even get to me because she has seen me in that other form. And
and your one tries to say is like, oh, she saw you as a monster. I guess she must be a monster too. It's like, no, she was scared shitless when she saw me as a monster, but she stuck with me anyway. Yeah. And that shows like a true kind of caring, that you're willing to be there even when you know it's bad, that kind of thing.
Yeah. And Akito can sense that that's not going to be enough to kind of dig into him, to dig at it as much as they want. Well, and just like starts making allusions to threatening Toru. Then it's like, oh well, when this is all done, like I'll take you, I'll just lock you away from Roulette. Because remember that little agreement we had before all this? You can live outside, and if you can defeat the rat, you can defeat Yuki before you finish graduate high school, and you can live on the outside. If you don't, though, I could lock you up forever and ever again. Remember that? He's trying to hold that over him, but as well as like, you know, we're going to hold you to that little agreement we had, you know, and if you don't do what I say, I'll you know, might bring Toru into this. I mean, like, you already brought her into this with your actions, you know. Brought her in deeper into the family.
Kind of blaming him for bringing her into the family rather than it's not my fault. My hands are fucking. Yeah. Your hands are dirty from this thing.
So if something happens, if she gets caught in the crossfire and what's going on in the family, then that's going to be on you, buddy. So
yeah.
You know. Well, make her what you will. You know, she'll be gone, and then we'll go back to the way it was. So I still love you, you stupid fucking monster, you stupid idiot cat. I fucking love you. I'm the only person who ever cares about you. I mean, even in spite of it all.
I'll visit you when you're locked up in fucking prison for the rest of your life. It's all fine. So, like, Kyo kind of comes to the realization, it's like, I love her, but I can't allow myself to love her because that'll do more damage to her in the end than it'll make my life happy. So I'll just enjoy the time I have left with her. Again, in a similar position to his counterpart. Yeah. And
she's feeling really down about that, obviously. But he's just sort of comes awakening to himself, because he's remembering back to a little memory he had with the sensei, the martial arts master, whose name his actual name I've forgotten.
I keep forgetting. Sorry.
But you remember, it's like, you know, hey, Kyo, watch your step there. Yeah, but step in that flower. And like, it's kind of like Kyo was more like, it's kind of what's the point of me even being around? You know, like someone else had to die so I could be here. What worth do I have? Well, or do you believe you are worthy of something else? You have an effect on things around you. You need to be careful. You need to be aware of these things. And you can't just trample all over them. And fun saying, well, I'm just me being here is trampling all over somebody else. I trample over somebody else's life to fun to exist in this world right now. So I don't give a fuck about it. But now you just leave there. This lesson sinks in. Oh yeah, fucking. Even though it's shit, even though it's crap, and even though I might feel this way, that doesn't mean that it gives me the right to trample over somebody else's happiness. So. I'm going to just keep this from her for now, and because she's somebody who deserves to be happy, and she is genuinely happy to see me, and I am just so happy for being with her that I don't want to trample upon that happiness at all.
He's taking like the kind of the opposite message. Yeah, but what his sensei was trying to say was like, even though you're in like the lowest position now, you can potentially like still come out of it. You're not stuck in this emotional state forever. You have a way to get out of it. The way he's kind of looking at it is like, I'm temporarily happy now, and I can make people temporarily happy now, so I'll stick with that for now, and then it'll be sad later. Which is kind of like the opposite message, but still the correct one, if that makes sense.
Yeah. But he doesn't want to make her unduly sad either. And he wants to just, as happy as she is now, to cherish that. But then whether they ever get a chance to say what he really feels, he doesn't even know himself. Maybe he probably won't, and it's probably for the best he doesn't. But the saga is like, he'll just be kind of living on with this and be hanging out with her, and he was genuinely happy with her, but now he has to like put on the air of being happy and just try to enjoy it. It just makes it all the more excruciating.
So that sucked. It was depressing, but yeah.
Kind of just kind of leaves off on that. You kind of wonder what's fun. This whole trip to the summer house seems like a bad idea. Everyone's been put to the ringer here.
It's a pretty shitty summer holiday.
Meant to be like a little relaxing, a relaxing time, but it's just been hyper stressful for everybody involved, especially the viewer. I know it'll turn out okay for the end of the story, but man, it still is. I know what you mean. There's one that visceral feeling want to just fucking give him 5 across the eyes of that fucking little bastard.
Yeah.
Come on, Kyo, you know kung fu, and to be fair, Kyo was putting hands on Akito, which again unprecedented. But Akito knows what kind of leverage to use to get their way. And even then, even as afterwards, is spotted in the bathroom by Yuki, washing up. It's like, what are you doing here? Oh, I felt so filthy and disgusting after meeting with the cat.
I touched that cat way too much, and most of the touches being, slaps in the face, literal ones as well. But yeah, horrible stuff. But yeah, obviously that's what it's going for. Yeah,
so it's kind of like just the nice kind of idyllic beach scenes, this ephemeral memory. It contrasted so well with like Akito in that this completely just shaded, sunless room, and even just like pulling down the little like wind chime, just a little like nice gentle sound of like a peaceful summer afternoon, and they're just like yanking that down, lobbing it at Kyo to just no one's allowed to have any fun, no one's allowed to have any happiness. I decide who gets what. Just such a fucking. Just such a fucking shit. Yeah. I think the next episode is actual kind of culmination of this whole summer thing. But there's a big development forward. It's like, Kyo was finally able to like admit and like
admit his feelings to himself, but
fully articulate his feeling inside him. He's just kind of noticing why does my name sound so pleasing to the ear when you say it to her? It's because I love you, of course.
Yeah.
And as soon as he realizes it's just like it's snatched away, it's just as quick. It's just there's no. I want to like believe in that future, hope for that future that we could have together, but it's just no. If it's the best thing is to like divest myself of that thing, of that whole dream, of that whole vision of the future I have for myself. So I'm going to pull her down with me. It's just it's tough going.
Is any lighter going in Tower of God episode 10 beyond the sadness? I mean, it doesn't sound like it will be.
I mean, like, it's mostly a funeral, so not really.
No, it's pretty bad. People are kind of processing thing. Ho is dead, and Rachel will never walk again.
Yeah, Rachel's been put in a wheelchair. It's like, that stab at the back was actually worse than they thought. So she's going to automatically fail the test. Is one of the things they keep going on? I'm like, Jesus, that's pretty fucked.
That's super harsh.
Considering your job is fly around and gather information in a cube, it's like I feel like that's wheelchair accessible, a flying cube, but I could be wrong. But
one would think. Kuhn certainly did, because I'm not sure why he seems to care. Because it was him who precipitated this tragic series of events, because it was him who passed the note to Ho, saying, like, if you want to get a tower, you gotta take out Bam. And he just did that knowing how Ho would act, and then just
I thought he was
nudging
suggesting
things
that.
slightly.
I thought he was suggesting that one of the guys did it because he couldn't have known that they would have ended up in the same testing space.
Yeah.
Mm.
But he like put Ho, like he put him on that, like, you know, on that train of thought of being suspicious about that, and then
Sure.
yeah, then just like suggested that to the ranker thing, because he put past him on this little thing. Oh, but before I go, fun, hey, watch out for Ho, all right? He's the wrong one. Because his self-inadequacies will boil up sooner rather than later, and that's going to cause probably something bad to happen. But yeah, like someone is dead, and I don't know what his intent to get Rachel out of competition or not. Like he's wanted to get rid of Ho because he could have so many of the wave users pass the test, and he already had his dudes picked out. So he just like, when I've got to kick somebody out, it's got to be Ho then.
Yeah, and it's kind of going through like, he's manipulated the numbers for who's going to pass the test and all that kind of thing. We've got I guess everyone getting drunk over the memory of him and burying him in like this glass glass grave kind of thing, which was an interesting look. But
that was Shibi's ideas. I was like, oh well, let's not have this whole like dour party. We got all this like booze. Like when half we're going to offer on the grave, for the rest of it we're going to have ourselves. You know, the toast is like, because you can't pass on to pass on to the next world if he sees us moping and being sad here. So let's give him a good send off.
There's a bunch of things with the guys kind of going like, hey, Rachel's doing the thing, and your man's like, yeah, you can't call her Rachel. It's like, it's fine, everyone knows now. Everyone knows. They've completely dropped the pretense. It's like, that's her, all right.
Yeah, I mean, I barely even know everyone. It
wasn't a very good disguise from the get-go. Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
so.
I mean, I met her like earlier on the test, and everyone knew who she was immediately. No, the other big dude, he was there with her, so I don't know who they are at all. Because the big fella, whose name was Ghost, we learn later on, is ghosted right out there. He just hasn't appeared.
So when he disappeared, when he saw Rachel was in trouble, he apparently disappeared entirely because he hasn't come back since.
Yeah.
That's one of the things that Rack keeps shouting. It's like, that big guy, he just fucking vanished, man. He just disappeared. The other thing that's happened to Rack is he insulted one of the guys who provides the test. He's like, oh, I didn't see you there, small fry. So the guy shrunk him into a baby dinosaur. Yeah. I mean, like, he's just as loud. It's weird, and everyone else is kind of reacting. It's like, hey, Rack, you look really fucking small. What happened? He's like, shut up. He still eats chocolate bars and everything. It's like, I'm not sure if it'll make any difference to his prowess. But he's not as tall as his spear anymore, is the problem.
No. So I apologize to that dude, and maybe he...
Why can't apologize?
I should really remember what the fella's name is, who was the tease from where he would put his coffee.
The guy who drinks the coffee, and I can never remember his fucking name, He's clearly up to dickery, but...
Yeah, because he finds, what's his name, Yuga, who's a big fuzzy monster man, who... This guy is a dude wearing a mascot costume. There's in some crevice for deep down below, and he's sending out like a hidden communique to somebody, and he gets caught right in the act by Mr. Coffee Man here. It's saying, Mr. Examiner Yuga, or should I say, agent of the Royal Inspection Committee. It's like,
agent of something we as the viewers don't know what the fuck it's about. I see you're making a secret message and making clandestine plans and shit like that, and. Man's like, aha, I brought a giant worm to fight you. And the other guy's like, aha, I have a bigger worm, so I don't really care. Also, I don't care that you're trying to betray people and shit like that. That's fine. It's grand. Well, I'll see you later for coffee, all right? Cool. Continue your secret call. I just interrupted you to say that I know that you're doing this, but I don't care. That's it.
Yeah, but, if I could be in on this, there's no problem with it at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, so...
Which is a bit like, okay, what's happening?
He's from like the Royal Inspection Committee thing as well. So it's probably something to do with the Princesses of Jihad, and then Jihad himself. So I guess more from up top is don't quite like how this latest batch of testing is going. There seems to be too many.
Make sure they go down on the 5th, that kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah, it seems to be too many simple factors here. And it could be all this just be rigged altogether, or there's no one etiquette reaches the top of the tower. It's all a sham just to perpetuate this guy's hold over us all. Which I suppose, yeah, could happen.
So after everyone gets completely wasted in the funeral/drinking party afterwards, I can't remember her name either. The girl with the knife. But yeah, she's peacing out. She's like, I'm fucking done. I just stayed for the funeral to pay my respects and everything, and now I'm out. Which is, I mean, like, based on the amount of betrayals that's happening, I feel like that's the sensible option for now.
Yeah. Well, she was there for her buddy Ho, and now that he's gone, she's got some different perspective on things now. So
yeah,
I don't really. I was sticking by this guy, but now that he's gone, I can see that this isn't worth the cost. I'll take my chances outside of here.
Yeah, find something else to live for, that kind of thing. But and then we get the people who passed and get to do the next exam results. I'm trying to think of, like, I sometimes I was like, oh wait, the guy with the 2 swords wasn't a fisherman; he was actually a scout. I was like, okay, that's weird.
Yeah, well,
I don't know the people's classes. I'm this fucking far into the show.
It's whatever.
Yeah.
That's the results of most of your favorite characters have passed. Ghost, the big spirit guy, he passed, but because he's not here, he's disqualified.
Yeah, Rachel passed, but because she's paraplegic, she's disqualified. And it's like, Jesus, this thing's really harsh. And one guy speaks up, and it's like, hey, this is bullshit. My team won. How the fuck? Why didn't I pass? And it's like, oh, you wanna dispute your thing? Come up here to the front of the class. I'm gonna shoot water through your body while you presumably, like, if you endure this for a minute, and if you do, then you'll pass. And then they drag his body off, and I'm like, I think that guy's dead.
I don't know, it was something like his internal organs are being crushed. He was being bent in a strange way. He started like bleeding out the nose at one point. Didn't feel completely unconscious.
Bad anime thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's definitely not in a condition to go with it. But then Kuhn is like, I would like to dispute the results, and it's like, yeah, but Kuhn, you passed. What do you got to dispute? And it's like, I want Rachel to go through, and he's like, why? Because my buddy wants her to go through. He's like, I invoke the special rule where I want to do the test where I can be an administrator, which is much harder test. But
yeah,
I know.
Like, how do you know about that? Well, because he went to Lero Row while the other ranker is there. Just visited him right in his room. It's like, I'll talk about some stuff. And I guess she just told him again about, because he was saying as well about the setup in the test, and he was saying that, Mr. It's a coffee tea ceremony man. He was probably the guy who told the letter. He's trying to stir shit up, man. So he's kind of covered his trail, but also exploits some dissension in the ranks. But also in exchange, he gets a little tidbit about, you can take the administrator's test, which was taken a long time ago by Jahad himself. And when you come to the administrator of the tower, you can change the rules as you see fit. So if you can pass that test, then it's fine.
You can change the rules so Rachel can go through. And he's
Problem
like,
is, you can't do that, though, because you're not an irregular.
You got to be an irregular. You got to be someone who broke in here illegally. And Bam's kind of like, excuse me, I'm an irregular. I want to do that. And it's like, everyone's like, oh, he's an irregular? That's fucked. Because we were all like chosen to do this. That's really weird. And then it's like, okay, you get to go do this test on your own. If anyone and they say to him, it's like, if anyone wants to support him, cool. You can actually get through much quicker to the top of the tower this way. But you'll be known as a helper of an irregular, which is like, that person did a crime and you're an accessory to that crime now. So great. But if you don't want to help them, that's fine too. You can go the regular way. And they have like a whole thing where it's like Kuhn and Rack are kind of like having a fight. But everyone kind of realizes, yeah, we get it, guys. You want us to work on it. It was up. Yeah, obviously we're all mates now. Including the green guy who passed, who initially says, like, I'm not fucking helping him. And then when everyone else says, like, yeah, okay, I'll help him. He's my friend, or I have my own reasons for helping him. That kind of thing. He's like, and I was in on it as well with my good acting.
No, he's going on with everybody else. Whatever else is doing right now.
Yeah, everyone else is doing it. You might as well stick with it. Everyone else.
Some of them like, they haven't got any great affection for the kid, but if this is the quickest route, faster than friend.
Yeah. So they're all gonna throw their support in behind him. I'm not exactly sure, but he's doing the harder test. Did we also get a thing where someone's trying to... your man, the guy in the mascot costume, is trying to kill Anak, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, but we see Bam, he's gone into the test, presumably on his own, but he's viewing the guy who is his patron, isn't it?
Whatever that
the giant eyeball. eyeball as big as the
being
screen.
in the black dimension is.
It's like, hey, long time no see, buddy, and that's where we cut off. And I'm just like, I don't have no idea where the fuck this
Did
thing
you
is
gotta
going.
arm wrestle this thing? You gotta beat it in a game of chess? We're not quite sure.
Staring contest. It's a giant eyeball.
Yeah. It's like a much more of a kind of, let's say we're ramping down from the previous episode, but and then kind of
Setting up the stakes and everything. Yeah, like the girl who lost her eye before said to Kuhn was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna step out down. You don't have to worry about me taking up the place." That was before this stage of the test. So just setting up who is still in the fucking show, I guess.
Yeah, so we whittled it down to just like a smaller handful of candidates. So it'll be easier to keep track of it. I can see, I can already kind of see a little bit ahead of the puppy, like some kind of test coming up. We have a kind of a number of about 10, 11, 12 participants here.
Yeah.
So you could do more things where we have to kind of socially, kind of social engineering kind of challenges. I would say something like that. We've had a kind of like a combat based one just now. So the next one will become something a bit more. But you gotta use your head again.
Well, the last one was like basically splitting the entire of them into two big groups, and now that's got whittled down to one smaller group, it's like, yeah, everyone has their individual roles to play within this group, and that's probably the way it's going. All right.
Yeah, we just have to use like ones who we have like the best ideas of what their sort of personalities and motivations are, so you can better see how they might act in a game where you need to actually like use your own judgment and thinking to figure out the puzzle or whatever it might be. I basically wanted this to be like an episode of the Genius to Korean game show, which is all about that kind of game. Because I missed that program, I wanted to do something similar in other TV shows. Yeah.
I think the organisation is called the Royal Enforcement Division.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it was something along those. It was basically something we've never heard about before, but like I get from context what they're doing.
So we'll abbreviate to RED.
Right. Right.
Yeah. But I suppose as we're whittling it down, we're having like these outside forces getting involved. At first, Princess Vimesh is still lost somewhere between the floors. We don't know
she's
where
still
she's
complaining that she's not getting there wherever she's trying to get quick enough.
I
don't know if she's working her way up from the bottom, because he did skip a bunch of floors by fighting that eel, apparently. So presumably she has to walk through each of them.
That's a bummer. Really fun cheap ass tower you got here, just using the same backgrounds and environments for all these in between floors. It's just so boring. So maybe she'll appear before the end again for the end of the series.
It looks like this series is adapting all of the first volume of the webtoon.
Right.
I don't know how they separate them into volumes on there, because I noticed the first volume has 79 chapters, and then the second volume has 337 chapters.
Fuck's sake.
Ugh. It's a giant-sized Tower of God.
So this sounds like it's this is the penultimate arc, but really the last proper arc of this chapter that you're just about to start. Or you're just starting, rather. Righty-ho, on to something I have seen. Wacky TV Nanana, Episode 8, Captured, Terror Aboard the Pirate Ship. God bless the affiliates for saving these bananas' lives.
I love the fucking brass balls on this show. It's like, oh, we're not mocking the show, it's the pirates. They're mocking the channel.
They're criminals. They always do that kind of thing. Damn pirates, hate them so much.
So the Redbeard pirates they've been captured by, and Redbeard's like, these guys aren't worth any money. No one's gonna pay a ransom for these guys. We should just throw them overboard. And they're like,
no. Excited because they're TV guys looking for the Kraken. It's like, oh, those last guys were the TV guys. They were from a good channel, and they're kind of like going like, I've never heard of this fucking channel. When he looks at your man's business card, it's like, I don't fucking know. Sounds like a nothing station. It's like, we go coast to coast.
I've got a voucher for a beef bowl at a restaurant. I got some money on my rail card. You can take that if you like.
We're a national TV station. We drained the lake, and we have we have a TV show where we follow people home.
what's interesting about draining a lake, and that sounds like a creeper. That sounds like a creepy creep.
But yeah, one of the pirates does check their smartphone and they discover, yes, this indeed is a national TV station, albeit one that has terrible stock prices and nobody's watching it because kids don't watch TV anymore.
Yeah. I see, Captain. There's a victim of the evolving advertising model. I mean, able to move with the times as well as other networks, so it's used to catching up. Has affected their output. Of course, yes, it's a problem that's affected many media outlets to this very, very day. These pies are oddly well informed and up to date on things.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they've only got 6 affiliates. And they're like, those 6 affiliates allow us to be a national TV station. So that is what saves their lives by the end. Is that Redbeard's gonna ring up their manager and see if he can get a ransom for them.
6 affiliates. That means they do have some funding.
Yes.
It's probably worth ringing them up. Yeah.
And then our heroes look off into the horizon, thanking the 6 affiliates for saving their lives, and we get like the heads of the 6 affiliate representatives appear in the clouds.
I wonder if they just pull that photo off and just like off of LinkedIn, and then that's okay. Do a banana-based caricature of that person.
Yeah.
And
Oh no, this guy's bald. His head's gonna look really weird as a banana. Oh, gotta do it.
Yeah, it's what you expect from Wacky TV. No, at this point, it's a lot of self depreciating television satire.
So we're incorrect. It actually is still funny to me. So they can keep on doing it.
Yes. Then we've got listeners, episode 10, Crossroad Blues, which is the thing which lodged itself into my head this week, partly because of the things it reveals that have always been there, you just haven't been noticing. Namely, that there is no music in this world, being the main one.
Yeah, I mean, like the only thing I think the only time it comes up, I guess, is when the character's like, "Hey, what's that
Yes.
thing you do?" It's just like, "What's that?" It's like, "What, humming?" It's like they don't even have a word for fucking humming. It's like, "Oh, it's a noise I make." All listeners, all
Players,
all players make that make that noise.
But how are you supposed to know all these musical analogs that we're seeing for all these artists that we know? They don't actually go on stage and play a gig. It's going to be a great show, but they get into a robot and they fight things. That's not the same as playing a gig. It's not the same as playing music. You're right.
And when you're reading through like the who's who of players, you're kind of like, oh, this is them. They have this mech. This is their fighting style and shit. It's like, well, that's not the same fucking thing, is it?
Yes,
No.
but yeah, the main way it's revealed is because Echo takes the train to Clarksdale, where he meets Janice and
Janice.
Robert Johnson, and they are the last of the blues people, and they run a farm which has a cow, and
eventually 2 cows.
I guess surely they must have had a
There was a second cow in the shed for sure.
There were other cows in
okay,
the shed.
yes,
There was
that's
one character cow, I think, is the way.
That's true. And we don't know whether those cows were even there by the end.
I mean, like, I assume the cows were memories of actual cows. Yeah.
Yeah. And he discovers in the basement of the house all these, like,
What are these books?
wall to
What are
walls.
those? It's some kind of art.
Yes.
They look like plates, but they're not. They got a big hole in the middle, and they got writing on them. What could this be?
Yes. These dusty 12-inch discs in 12-inch square sleeves with grooves on. And then in the church, there's a floating, glowing gramophone, which apparently is the thing which invented players.
Yeah, it looks like an old-fashioned gramophone crossed with the style of the robots. So it's a nice kind of marriage of the two.
But when they play the Robert Johnson album that he's pulled out, no sound emerges from the gramophone.
It's the sound of no sound on a gramophone, so just like the needle moving along the grooves, basically. Yeah.
Yeah, and this is the origin, and if it gives you the chance to choose whether you're going to be a god or a devil. I was like, okay, let's bring Bazinga into it as well. I'm not going to complain.
I mean, it's literally the crossroads. It's Robert Johnson, and it's selling your
Yes.
soul to the devil potentially.
Yeah,
So it's
and
like, I get the multiple fucking references they're making.
well,
Yeah.
whatever makes sense. If instead of playing music in this world, you plant giant robots, and of course, the Robert Johnson would be the progenitor of so many other ones.
Yes.
Yeah,
And yeah, there's also the bit about when they're working on the farm and they talk about you're born, you die, you get up in the morning, you work, you go to sleep. It's like that was the other point we realized. Oh yeah, there's nothing, there's no entertainment in this world.
Yeah, yeah. I thought that was a really like well done. I actually really enjoyed this episode a lot. I thought that was really well done, and him like Robert Johnson explaining it, just like that it's just like living and then eventually dying is the only pointed. But why do you keep living? And it's trying to find that kind of thing.
There's eating, sleeping, and working, but there's other things that you don't need, but you still have to have.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
it's hard to articulate that when you do not have the word for music. Like again, the closest they got is him looking at the albums and going like, "What is this, art?" That kind of thing.
Yeah, and also as you go through the episode, you're realizing that Moo is not Jimmy's sister. Janice is Jimmy's sister.
Yeah.
The things people have been basing various plots on through the past few episodes are entirely incorrect.
Yeah, yeah.
And then I think we get like a recap, but this time from the point of view of the blues people. Of I think I think some of these images are the same ones which were in the first episode when Echo was explaining what the earless were to Moo. And yeah, so and then eventually we learn that what Moo actually is, and more importantly, after the credits roll, Tommy Walker learns this. That
much to his detriment.
Yes, that Moo is in fact the king of the earless.
I feel like the giant horns she's grown in the meantime is a bit of a giveaway that she's nothing to do with your man.
Probably.
She's wearing her hair differently. It's don't. She's very sensitive about it. Don't point it out.
Yeah, and Echo chooses not to be a god or a devil. He's going to go and save Moo, his friend, and to do this, he becomes a player again because we've established that you can spontaneously become one.
Oh, Maggie literally is the thing that makes players there as well. So,
and the other thing I was like, oh yeah, he's the Jimi Hendrix character. It's not Jimmy Stonefree at all. Because I've seen people say, why is the Jimi Hendrix character white? And I was like, and then you're like, oh, it's because he's not. It's Echo. He's got the headband on. He's had the headband on for the entire show.
He's got a darker fucking skin tone. So like, is like Jimmy Stonefree? Is he supposed to represent like when rock was taken from black people and made by white people?
I think he's more a red herring than anything else.
Ah, fair enough. I was wondering, was he supposed to represent something like like an Elvis or something?
I think it could also be like not necessarily in like that, but in like the positive thing of Elvis wanting to do it because he enjoys it, and white jazz men wanted to do it
specifically
because
the character, the idea.
Yes, yeah. It's not necessarily they're not necessarily the idea of stealing, but doing it because you want to. But then the industry turns you into the only thing.
It manufactures you into something else, which is very much so what's happening.
I mean, they drop a few like musical references at us in the little backstory there, but no, just some scenes we know. So he was like a mock-up of an album cover, but it's a effective story. So you have like a Led Zeppelin from Mothership in there. It's like no, that's often.
I love it every time they show like the earless attacking and have that fucking the Zeppelin fucking cover.
But that's often a same acquisition like level that they just kind of ripped off a bunch of the music of black musicians to make up their sound.
Wow. And white musicians as well. White musicians who supported them on tour. Which I've had long arguments with friends of mine who loved Led Zeppelin too much about that. But
I like Zeppelin, but it's fucking like just have a listen. Someone's put the breakdowns together, and it's very like that's the same fucking bunch of notes.
But it's a mashup. Is that that's the one thing which drives me crazy because it's Mothership, which is a late period. It's like 21st century best of compilation, isn't it?
Yeah.
But it's mixed with Animals by Pink Floyd. And I feel like there's another band who's got something which looks like that already, and I can't put my finger on it at all. But the other one's Uriah Heep and just on its own,
birthday. Yeah.
with the Roger Dean artwork and like almost so close. I think they did like alter it enough just to get away with it, but but those
Just
plants,
about different.
those plants are very similar to the cover.
Yeah,
And then another one,
which figures on the hill, they're just the earless then, so that's probably different enough.
yes.
I don't know.
And you also got there's a suggestion that Mark Bolan was the first player, because you see there's the Electric Warrior cover with the guitar replaced with the Origin, the gramophone in his hands. But that's also got like a sunburst effect, which I'm sure is off another album as well.
Oh, there's a
sure.
few Jimi Hendrix albums.
There is, yeah,
as well. So I thought it's reaching for that kind of look.
That's what I thought, but I looked at the sunbursts on there and they weren't the same. Whereas that particular sunburst was like scratching an itch in my brain, and I was going, I can't remember what exactly that is. It's driving me like.
I mean, that's a lot of the show where it's like,
Yes.
that looks really fucking familiar, but
Yes.
it's on the tip of my fucking thoughts. Yeah.
Yeah. So the episode ends and then the credits roll, and then we get a whole chunk of extra episodes. The episode ends with Echo discovering everybody has disappeared, and then we see a clear view of a gravestone we've seen repeatedly through the episode. It's Janice Stonefreeze.
Yeah, you could make out the J and the stone free, but it was quite worn other than that. So you figure it's
Really?
like, oh, this is where Jimmy came from. It's like, yeah.
I can make out the Alice, but not the J.
Yes.
That's too obvious. No, over Lisa S.
Yes, and then after the credits, the king of the earless turns people into earless and makes Tommy deaf and says, I'll be back in 7 days.
I could destroy you now, but it'd be more fun if you know it's coming.
And next week is I Am the Resurrection, where it looks like all the characters are coming back.
For a Stone Roses tribute. Okay.
So yeah, 2 more episodes left of this.
I'd be interested in what will actually like kind of come to kind of finally kind of define earless as being, because it seemed to be an extra dimensional entity that we met, but then we know that people that we've met in life can also like become or kind of like ascend to them, or when they pass away, they can live on as one of them. So it is something that these are represented, because also as well when Moo, as the king of the earless, like summons them out, doesn't call them ears, it calls them listeners as well.
That's what they call themselves.
Yeah.
They're called earless, and they very clearly have one of the few distinctive things about them is their big fucking Mickey Mouse ears sticking out the side of their heads.
Because when Robert Johnson, or the spirit of Robert Johnson anyway, is like is talking about the nature of the world, there are no we want like order and stability, and they like favor chaos and instability. It's just trying to say that like music is this kind of chaotic and kind of formless thing, but
it doesn't have a reason for existing, from the whole like you're born, you live, and you die. That's the nature of fucking everything. But there is something more to living than that. And since music has been eliminated from people, I guess you can't quite articulate it.
Yeah, my feeling from this
that the earless are
episode
looking for.
was that both the humans and the earless are, neither of them are in what we'd call our dimension.
No.
Somehow they've got separated, and that's how they've both turned into each other. I also wonder if like the design, I need to go back, but like the design of like the earless form of Moo is the same as the one which was around when Roz was a child, the one that in her flashback.
Right. Yeah. If they've changed in the meantime, yeah. Or
If it actually was the same earless.
I think there was like pokey bits out of the head, so that's probably...
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. It did resemble it in my memory, but whether that memory was correct, based on a show where people are questioning their memories.
Sure.
But yeah, so looking forward to the rest of it. It's been the most consistent thing, I think.
Mm.
Whether that works for you or not, I don't know, but it's definitely worked for me.
Well,
I've seen it online. It's really pissing off some people.
Yes.
It was a little mean. I was like, it was just so some of the references. I was like, that's a bit fucking. I don't know about that. But other than that, it's been like you say, a fairly consistent show. I kind of get what the message is it's trying to get across. And setting up its own mythology based off of our actual history is an interesting idea as well.
I mean, it's interesting in a sense, even though it can be outrageously blunt with it. It is it is like somebody who is like a fan of music of about this period, maybe kind of a bit outside of it too, but I'm interested in how it all links together and trying to convey that and make a story about it in an interesting way, because maybe a lot of folks would know like songs by some of these artists and bands, but they may not be aware of how they followed on from each other or influenced each other right down the line, and how far back that can stretch. It's actually listening, and maybe get kind of like listening a bit closely and getting a kind of appreciation for where things come from and how to put together. Is why I was trying to get around to there. And that's it. It is interesting to watch just how they articulate that. I'm interested in just how it will eventually just like stick that landing and all this, and what kind of way they're going to come down on it. Probably something that's like very positive and cheerful. I can't guess it, but it's still interesting. And if you get some cool, more shameless caricatures of famous artists, then the better.
Sure.
Bring more of those in.
Righty-ho. Then we've got our last thing for the day. Wave, Listen to Me, episode 10. I have to do this. Or is it, I have to do this? I wasn't entirely sure how the reading of this is supposed to be read and which character it's supposed to be related to.
Yeah, you could read that multiple ways for sure.
Because I feel like it might be the writer and the scene at the start of him feeling like, even though he feels in his heart that it's too late for him taking part in this contest.
If he would have made it, he would have made it by now. Yeah.
Yeah. But the fact that he is doing it, he's seeing there's that
at least he still has that drive within him to do it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And this is where it's clearest that your woman's in love with him, and then we get the
because we get the shotty around going like, "Ooh, I'm jealous in the background."
In the bushes,
hiding behind a column.
Yeah. Dear.
And then we get then they're going to bring in 2 ace Foley artists.
No one knows their real names.
There's Kako To and Kako N. They're the best in the business, but they got phased out after people were volunteering, just like recording sample things on a soundboard. Then people didn't need them no more.
I love those guys because they kept like reacting. It's like, hey, why are you saying we're comedians? And I was like, you guys are fucking hilarious. What are you talking
about? Shut up, stupid.
They seem like a comedy fucking duo where they're just constantly riffing on each other and they're just in their own fucking conversation that they've been having for years.
But they got a fat guy and they got a thin guy, and both of them have their own little gimmicks. I mean, the thin guy, Kako, I think he can do things with his mouth and his head. You just screw it. Wow, it sounds like a horse galloping. Yeah, I'm pretty good at that. I was pressing the girls down the hostess bars of that one.
Going through their, I love the fact they're going through their toys to show off to the girls in the studio, and then your man calls them out on specifically that, and they're like, "Hey, come on, be cool."
But before we get to meet them, we get Minari telling Mizuho that she's going to move out because meeting Mitsuo again, she runs through like all the things that, like, how she behaves differently when she's got a boyfriend. And
she's actually really nice and caring and comforting, but he really kind of took advantage of that by being a bigger slob than she is when she doesn't have a boyfriend.
Yeah, and she's talking about how she finds it safer to have a boyfriend who relies on her than one who doesn't need her, because then she's suspicious about where she stands. Why are you even with me relationship.
If you don't need me.
Does he really need me if I'm not actively being needed? But she doesn't want to be sponging off Mizuho in the same way that Mizuho.
Because that's specifically the thing she dislikes about her boyfriend. So why should she inflict that on someone who she likes?
And Mizuho's like, no, you're great with the tortoises. And look how happy they're saying, please stay with us. And then we can hear them what they say. And they're just saying, ooh, food, delicious mackerel flakes.
That's what your dog feels about you. Sorry, everybody. And your cat. And your parrot.
Then she goes to waitress at the cafe and messes everything up there between the assistant manager and Maki, because she realizes that Maki's in love with Nakahara, and then Nakahara is exactly the sort of man that scares her off, in that he's very self-reliant. And so she starts teasing him, and he's still in love with her. I like the way she's taking the
piss out of him for being self-sufficient and cooking at home and stuff. And he's like, "What are you taking the piss out of me for that for? Those are good things."
What did I do?
And even having the conversation with the Foley guys over the phone, where it's like she's just letting all of it out, but not enough information to not make him incredibly depressed and bad at his job.
Yeah, it still sounds fairly definitive, though.
I mean, like she says, I got inside his hole or something like that. It's like, dude, fucking context. You can't just say that to someone. You have to say that on the phone while someone can very obviously overhear you and you know it. You need to explain that specifically.
So then Maki pulls Minari aside and basically says, stop teasing him.
Just stop stringing him along kind of thing. It's not cool.
And then Minari's like, well, if you want to be, why don't you just comfort him? You're both living together. And then she's like, I'm staying at his place, but we're not living together, and it's very frustrating.
Yeah. She wants to move on that, but she's not going to do it while the dude is still hung up on another girl, kind of thing. And also, his sister is there.
His sister's there.
To be fair, I'm not blaming the sister. She's great.
No, I'm sure the sister would be encouraging, and that may make it even
for
more
sure
awkward.
Yes, because he's that fucking dense that he wouldn't know.
Well, that might be the thing she needs to do, is tell the sister, and then the sister
give me a half an hour, dude.
Yeah, I feel like that would be the prompt that the sister would leave then.
Yeah.
Because I think she cares enough about the pair of them that she won't necessarily impose herself if she's getting in the way of them two.
Oh, she'd probably be delighted if this...
for about 3 hours. Yeah. I'll be back in 3 hours.
I think she'd be delighted if Maki became the new aunt to this baby. It's just like, she's fucking great.
Yeah, and then after that bit, then we get the lengthy bit with our two lads, and then we get the radio play they're going to do, which has Mato is going to be the other voice, and it's a play where she's hired him to help her bury her boyfriend, and the earlier thing he says is basically it's to bury herself as well. They're going to she's going to become like a radio personality out of this.
This is where you're going to die and become reborn as a fucking personality on this show, live. We're going to do it live because we do everything fucking live. Also, we didn't even have time to pre-record it, so...
Yeah. And I'm going to be in this one because you're still coming out from this place where I am the producer who discovered you in the bar. But that's your name in the paper, in the listings for the Radio Times. Yeah. So it's up to you. You need to come into your own name, not be anything that I've brought you onto. You got to just show to me that this is who you are and what you can do with it.
But before the show, he has a special guest star to show her, where it's like, hey, it's a call from your boyfriend. And she's like, the fuck did you go and record him after? And the sound guys are just like, yee. And no, they've edited the sounds from her recording to simulate his voice perfectly, it seems. That's a bit worrying.
Yes, this is for the final scene of when the body has pulled Mato's character under the ground and has climbed out of the ground.
I do like that they in the play as well. They do address fictionally that she's kind of got the hots for this dude, not entirely, but he is an attractive guy, so I get it.
Well, somebody put in like a nearly a minute this long
Yes.
kissing scene. It's like, no, do it,
She's
do
embarrassed
it
about it,
long
but
and
she's
sensual.
still making the kissing noise, and she's like, "Why the
Yes.
fuck is this scene so long?"
I do like the fact that she always seems to be reading these cold. She does not
Yeah,
appear to
it's
read them
really
ahead
fun.
of time.
She's really good then.
Yes.
Just that good.
Just so we get the internal monologue of being absolutely shocked.
Just be able to say completely straight, and I'm not missing it at all. Hey, baby, hurry up and bury the spies. We can go to a hotel and fuck, because I get hot after I kill people. Like, reading
What the
that
fuck
on
is
the
wrong
page.
with my character?
This guy's this sex crazy lunatic. Who came
Yeah.
up with this?
Next week's episode is called "I Don't Fear Anaerobic Creatures."
Neither do I.
Another great one. Yep.
It is, yeah. I think all the characters are great in this,
Mm.
and yeah, it's kind of both. It's hard to believe that the comic's written by the same guy who did Blades of the Immortal. But
Yeah, it's actually a fairly insightful, incisive piece about the way a modern woman my age would feel, especially with the kind of hang-ups that she has from her family, from her past relationships, and just trying to find a purpose for herself, and the self-doubts and the surprising talents that come to the fore there as well.
Like, obviously, it's like in terms of genre, it's more comedy than Blade of the Immortal, and I think that's kind of helping the kind of humanize the characters a lot more, because people make jokes in stupid or bad or even whatever situations, that kind of thing. They feel a lot more relatable in that regard. They feel a lot more realistic for having off the cuff jokes. It's weird.
yes, and people overstepping the mark like this. These are the thing, and then someone says.
Yes.
Yeah, because that's the thing. That's the other thing which takes it away from just being a pure comedy. Is if it was just a
Yeah.
pure gag comedy, that you'd never have a character say, "Excuse me, can I take you aside and tell you that you've really overstepped the mark there?" That would
It's like,
never happen in
fucking, yeah.
Tensai Bakabon, would it? So, unless that was the joke itself. Whereas this is
Sure.
to like add to the characterization and add to the humanization of
Yeah.
Minare and Maki. And it's like the sense that it gives you a little bit, because we've not seen Maki really in terms of the story since the episode with her brother, and even then the brother dominated that episode.
I mean, like, he dominated the episode, but it just helped you know why her character is the way
Yes.
she is a little. Yeah.
But this seems like you now, just from that small conversation, that final line, you're like, okay, now we know where her character's going, what her desires are, and the things which are
her
standing in
goals
the
or
way
whatever.
of it.
It feels like Kuraraki Simura says about challenge of I gotta try and write a comic that is about people which kind of clashing of personalities and motivations behind them, but it doesn't involve such motivations as I love fighting with swords. It needs to be something a bit more than that. Like, what's the because he was like, because in fairness, in the bits we watched up to a point of the Blade Immortal anime that came out recently, there were some really good kind of card moments there when often the episode didn't end in like a blood-soaked carnage of blades. Like I think in particular when herself, she was had to go up with the whole like fake backstory to try and pass the inspection point, and the lengths she went to try to give evidence to prove her story. That's a really good like
getting into a character's head and not knowing that even her fake story couldn't fake out the guy, but just that you know how much you need to fake in order to, he won't have a choice but to let you through, that kind of thing.
Yeah, but even as well, kind of seeing a parallel in that, because she had to come up with like a version of her sad backstory, but she was pouring in elements of her actual tragic backstory into it to really sell it and just
to make her
inform the narrative of it, which is what Minari is doing here. In a less tragic and less
dramatic,
harrowing back thing, but it's still
it's still a character growing moment, but it's way less violent and all that.
Yeah, looking at a lot of his other comics, I feel like maybe he realised that she was the character he liked writing the most. in Blade of the Immortal, because
Right.
a lot of the rest of the comics seem to be female-led and leaning more towards comedy and slice of life type stuff.
Well, I mean, like, considering he wrote this as well, maybe he grew as a person as well as the
Yes.
characters that he writes. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, it's good stuff, and we got to get all of it. That's the other good thing as well.
It's just like there's no sign of slowing down. It seems they're very quick to confirm or otherwise whether they're going to be postponed or whatever. It's just like, no, it's just seems to be this conference. Just don't say anything you can't. That you're going to regret later on. It's like it'll come out when it comes out. If it stops, then we'll tell you.
Yeah.
It's kind of quietly confident, not like overly ostentatious. It's very much in keeping with the spirit of the show itself.
Yeah, I'll just quick double check that nothing we're watching's off the air. No, we're good.
Yeah, let's take
Okay.
this. Well, if casting on top of this, it feels like a good amount. I mean, other things came out during the week. Grappler Wacky came back.
I didn't get started on that yet, but I'm excited to.
I had to restrain myself. I threw one on. And it was just
it's so hard to watch just
drawn
one.
in just straight away. I got 4 in a row there, and I got 4 in a row into like a martial arts tournament thing, and we're 4 in. Already had to change the rules because some of these guys are too tough, and we need to change things around. Otherwise, it's never going to be a fair tournament.
Yes.
And it's crazy. The last one I left on was Mr. Oliver getting into a fight with a dude whose kung fu is based upon putting his hands up his pockets really, really quickly.
It's the unsheathing the sword really quick technique, but
with your hands in your pockets. Yeah,
I love that. Yeah,
it's called
Also-
Ron the Bad Man.
Also, Biscuits Oliver is like my favorite character in that show, which is very difficult because it's filled with fucking mad bastards.
See, Netflix really wants me to watch that and more Rats, and I blame the pair of you for both of that.
I take no. I'll take the blame for that. I don't mind.
I've not checked in on. I think I watched the first episode of the Netflix Wacky, but I've not checked in any further than that.
Fair enough,
It's the CG stuff is still not up to my satisfaction.
I will say it was noticeable for me anyway that I'd say this latest bit of Wacky, it looks probably a little better than previous ones. I haven't seen them really go for the CG model. Well, at least not yet anyway. But I don't know, there's something about it. It seems like it flows a little better movement-wise, animation-wise.
I've watched more of Pingu in the City than I've Grapple and Wacky.
Well, that's not surprising at all. Yeah.
It's not surprising now because it's written by the same person who writes Super Shiro. So. Andy wrote all the best episodes of Space Dandy. But yeah, no, I don't think there's anything else anime related that I've dipped my toe into. I noticed, I think the second episode of the new Wataru went up a few weeks ago, but I think it quickly whipped past a bunch of other stuff in my YouTube subscriptions feed. Possibly from the same channel, I don't know, Bandai Spirits. I think they're putting something else up at the moment, but just because they've got a big old metal toy they want to sell you. Trider G7 they're putting episodes of up at the moment. And then the first bit of text is Soul of Chogokin GX66R Trider G7 2020 10 release.
I mean, like, they are very pretty, but yeah.
I've never heard this robot before. Well, sit down for the next half hour. I will tell you why you should.
Or rather, you've forgotten about this robot. Let us remind you, and then, dear adult, go and buy yourself a deluxe toy and not let your children play with it.
For the low, low price of $500, you too could have God Mazinger in your house, on your mantle, all your neighbors to be envious of.
He's as big as your child. He's your new child.
Rightio. I realised I got the wrong thumbnail on this episode on YouTube. I'll go and change that after we finished up. Anyway, but before we say goodbye, let's ask Niall, when are we recording next week?
What are we going to record this week? The question to end all questions. It'll have to be on Wednesday the 17th. If that's okay with you guys.
Suits me fine.
Same time or?
Same Let's Go time, same Let's Go channel.
Excellent. Okay, we'll be back here around 7:30, 7:45 for the stream on the 17th of June 2020. Is it still Clerks, the next episode coming up?
Clerks Taz. Yes, Clerks animated series. I've looked into now. I've recording that with Joseph Wade and Libby Courtmore this Sunday as of recording right now. So that's been one been building up to a lot. That's supplementary materials that's been looking at the original film, looked at the pilot, or to associated with that. The cartoon I'm enjoying so far. It's I'm not going through it quickly because I know there isn't that much of it. So I thought this is actually quite pleasant to watch. But if I do it all immediately in a day or two, then I've nothing to get me through the week. So we're enjoying it so far, and it's just really embracing this we can be a cartoon, we can put in whatever we want in here now. All the kind of weird jokes you couldn't quite pull off maybe in a limited budget live action setting, and just go hog wild with now, which is good. That's a good way to do a character adaptation of anything that's whether it be a live action thing or otherwise. Just embrace the animated component of it and go crazy with it. And
I kindly pointed you in the direction of the live action pilot. Clark's TV.
Yeah, no, definitely worth comparing off for sure.
Which apparently Kevin Smith had nothing to do with. So I have no idea how.
I mean, that's not a reason to avoid it.
Yeah, I also forgotten about the original ending to the film, which ended with Dante, the main character, getting robbed and shot in the shop, and he dies there on the floor of the place. It's like, okay, and if that's
spoilers for Clerks.
But that ending didn't test well with audiences, unsurprisingly. So they just went for the one that you got in probably the version you saw in the cinema.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and on Sunday we are going to be recording on twitch.tv/Let's Go Brian. In theory, we're recording the anime that didn't make us. That is the plan. I need to find a guest for it, though. So maybe we'll record it the following Sunday. But depending on people's availability or some other random evening. So we're going to do that. And then the next episode after that will hopefully be Samurai Champloo, the first 6 episodes. Because I don't.
The first 6?
Yes, because I don't have the time to watch half of it. And I definitely don't have the time to watch all of it.
So about a quarter.
I will watch a quarter of it, and then if it comes up on the wheel again, we'll watch another quarter of it. But there's a lot of things on that wheel of topics now. Anthony wants to add another one, and I spotted something I might want to add, but Anthony may boycott if I do. But let's find out. Otherwise, be back here Wednesday next week for more. Let's go. Goodbye.
Bye. Ta-ta.
And now, dear listeners,